Right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Golden Sky once again. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm Tom. It is Monday, July 14th, 2025, and we are one day removed from our first pre-season friendly. Pre-season is underway, well and truly. The 25-26 season has begun officially. In a non-competitive sense at least. And so today, we're just going to talk about the friendly a little bit. We're going to get into a bit of detail about it. So if that's what you're here for, stick around because that's what we're going to do. And if you have joined me here on YouTube today, just a reminder, please do drop a like on the video. Do it right now and subscribe to the channel as well. Also drop a comment if you've got any thoughts or just anything like that you want to get across to me. Obviously I'll read them all and that would be great. If you're listening on Spotify or any other podcasting platforms, why not leave me a 5-star review. With that all said though, let's get into the Preston game from yesterday. Also just want to say had really good numbers with views on the video previewing the Preston game, so really appreciate that. Anyone who watched who's also watching this one. Let's get into some takeaways and some thoughts. So when we get into competitive games, I will do proper ratings, as some of you may have read when I used to write the ratings. We'll get into some actual ratings. We'll go player by player, rating by rating, and we'll talk individually about each player. However, when there's 22 players used in a preseason friendly and each player plays half a game, we're not rating every player, guys. We will talk about most of them today. Sorry if we don't get to the player that you particularly wanted to hear about, but if you particularly wanted to hear about Kostas Tsimikas, then I'm sure if you drop a comment, I can give you a little, couple minutes on Kostas Tsimikas next time. But there we go. So I thought, obviously, the best way to approach this then today would be to play a little game of it's just one game, and then we'll overreact to something that we saw in the friendly in the first game of pre-season. Obviously, Liverpool taking a 3-1 victory at Deepdale, which is nice to get off to a winning start. We actually lost at Preston last year in Arne Slot's first game behind closed doors. So we've improved. Slot has finally beat Preston. So there we go. That's good. So yeah, we're going to play a game of it's just one game, and let's get into some thoughts about the game. So Liverpool beat Preston 3-1. It's just one game, but Rio Ngamoa is going to be a superstar. That's right, everyone. This guy, he impressed probably the most for me personally. I know a lot of people out there were impressed with his performance as well. I thought he was fantastic, to be honest. We spoke about him on the pod yesterday as well, saying, on the pod on Saturday, previewing the game yesterday, the game, saying he was one of the youngsters to look out for. We also spoke about he's getting his first professional contract when he turns 17 next month. So this is just a reminder to everybody, Rio Ngamoa is 16 years old and he started the game. We talked a bit about the starting 11 as well and what it might tell us about some of these youngsters, about Slot's setup. And straight away, Rio is in on the left wing. Look, it doesn't mean he's ahead of Gakpo, who came on, or Diaz, who wasn't in the squad, but it's certainly an indicator of how highly Slot thinks of him, that there's a 16-year-old playing and starting in the first pre-season friendly for Liverpool. There was other wingers we have in the academy. Kieran Morrison was on the bench, didn't come on. Obviously, Ben Doak was there on the other side, came on. We'll talk about him later. Trent Kone-Doherty, another winger in the academy. They're all older than Rio, and Rio came on. Well, Rio started and showed everyone what he's all about. And what he's all about is, as we saw, picking the ball up and essentially just legging it at his fullback. It's great. It's so good to see, the little... He likes to pick the ball up, roll his studs over the top, and then whack out step overs at the speed of light. I mean, his legs, the fast twitch fibres in his legs, they must be like pumped full of whatever makes him go fast. Honestly, those things are just flying around the ball. He looks so direct, and he completed the most dribbles yesterday of any player on the pitch. Okay, it was only 2, but there we go. He still completed them, and that's the stat. I can only give you the facts of the game. But it felt like every time he got it, he was running forward and also using the ball really well too. That's been a criticism of his at the youth level. But I think he showed yesterday he completed all but one of his passes. And I think it shows maybe when he's playing around players that are more senior, and maybe he understands like he has to sort of earn their respect a little more, and he's not just dribbling through youth prospects. I felt like, for me, he released the ball all the right times yesterday. So it was really good. He nearly scored a couple of times. He got into the box, had a shot blocked, a really good block actually, sort of early on in the game. He sort of picks the ball up on the left side of the box, and he somehow dances through. He's like he's on Strictly Come Dancing or something. He's just like chopping and jiving through players, dropping shoulders, and gets into the box, but lets off a shot, and some Preston fella just comes flying in and blocks it. And he also was involved in the first goal as well, setting up the play for when Chiesa took it over. He drives into the box, and a magical bit of footwork. He sort of, I don't even know what he does. He pretty much, like, it was like he just suctioned the ball onto his foot and like dragged it through 2 players. I really don't know how he did what he did. It all happened so fast. His dribbling is electric. There's no other way to sum it up really. And he was a real bright spark in the whole first half. He was probably the most exciting player to watch. And we were all disappointed when we saw no verts on the team sheet. But I think Rio excited us anyway, and he was certainly the one I was most impressed with yesterday. And he's a little favourite of mine. I've got to say, I'm really high on this guy. I think he could really make it from the academy if he just stays fit, stays healthy, fine tunes his game. I was thinking about maybe will he go on loan. I'm not sure he will this summer. He is still 16. We have to remember he will be 17 when the season starts. Maybe we'll keep him in the academy for 1 year. Maybe he features in some cup games. I don't know. Playing in the Championship and League One is quite physical, and I'm not sure we'll want to let him go into that yet, week in, week out. Maybe we'll want to protect him for another year, but I mean, he lit up the fullback yesterday, and not that he was doing anything crazy. I'm not christening this guy, if I'm being realistic, like the best left winger in the world, the future best left winger in the world. We are here to overreact today, and it's just one game, but this guy is going to be a superstar. And if we sell Luis Diaz, just play this fella. He is so good. But no, he did a few things, maybe a little bit ambitious. He tried one cross, for example, towards Salah at the back post. He overhit it, but you could see the idea. If the execution was better, Salah had a free header at the back post, and it was the right thing to do. He also tried a pass with the outside of his boot, which was the one pass that he gave away. Went to the goalie, and whilst it wasn't the best pass, the best weight of pass, it's good to see him. He's got that technique in his locker as well, the Trivela sort of outside of the boot pass. He's got it all. His feet are about size 10 kids, but there we go. Apparently that's all you need. So Rio Ngamoa is going to be a superstar, and I was very, very impressed yesterday with him, and let me know if you were as well. So that's one takeaway from yesterday's game. But something else, the next one, another new face. Rio, not necessarily a new face, I suppose, but this man definitely a new face. It's just one game, But Milos Kerkez is a bargain, ladies and gents. This guy is a fucking bargain, let me tell you. I mean, what is there to say about his debut? Look, Preston, okay, they weren't like, it was very easy for us, wasn't it? It was very much an exhibition. They had a couple moments where they looked somewhat threatening at all. But other than that, it was very much just Liverpool sort of passed the ball around and it's like a kick around in the park with your mates. But that being said, Kerkez didn't misplace a single pass. I think he was 44 for 44, which is as good as it gets. So that's great. I thought he was really involved in the game, which you can see, 44 passes from left back in just a half. I thought he picked the ball up a lot, which is, again, good. And his position was interesting as well. It wasn't so much overlapping the left winger, which was obviously Gakpo when he was on. He was quite narrow. You saw him a couple of times, he made a run forward and a centre midfielder could have passed him the ball. I think Endo gave him one which was slightly misplaced, and there was another one which was, I think he was running onto it, but he could have had a shot, and it ended up going to Gakpo, who literally smashes the ball up to Mars. So not the best shot from Gakpo, but it was just interesting to see Kerkez sort of pick up that space, and maybe that's something that Slot will want from him this season. Not necessarily overlapping all the time, but maybe a little narrower than we've seen Robbo. And one thing Kerkez has, which you can see straight away, is just his like technical ability, just the way he looks when he's on the ball. The pure aesthetics of him when he's on the ball is cleaner than how we've seen Robbo. I think he's a more naturally gifted footballer than Robbo. We know Robbo was amazing for us, and it's by no means a discredit to him to say this type of thing. He was a top fullback in his prime. But we can all agree Robbo was never the most technical player, and whilst he was brilliant at crossing the ball and his engine was fantastic, if Robbo tried to do a step over, I think his leg had fallen off at certain times. Kerkez yesterday, he just looks smooth on the ball. He looks really comfortable. Like I said, his passing was fantastic. And he did show us also a little bit of the intensity and the aggressiveness that I talked about in one of the earlier shows when we discussed his transfer a little bit. You saw it when he's down in the corner flag and he did that he sort of turns around and takes on one guy, takes on another, and he's sort of falling over into the corner flag and he just fucking heads the thing. But instead of heading the thing, he heads the fella's shin, and he could have I don't even know what he was thinking. He goes full Phil Jones, heads the thing on the floor, ends up heading some Preston defender in the shin, smashes his face up. But if that's what he's doing in pre-season, can you imagine him against I don't know, a Man City or something like that in a high intensity game at Anfield with the fans going crazy? That's just the kind of player he is. He's super high intensity, and I think for the price we got him at, which was I think 40 million, he's going to be an absolute bargain by the looks of things. I think it was a great debut. He also had one defensive task to do, really. The right-sided player for Preston. I won't pretend to know any of the Preston players except Thierry Small, who we learned yesterday, and also that fella who was on loan from Bournemouth, Jebison, who came on in the second half and was going mad. Just kept dribbling all the time. The right winger was attacking him down the wing. Kerkez jockeyed him, slid in, took the ball cleanly, and got us playing again. And I also said that when we looked at his transfer, he goes to ground a lot. He does go to ground a lot. He likes a slide tackle, but it's not rash. Obviously, it can probably be rash sometimes, but he goes to ground a lot and wins the ball a lot, which is good. But yeah, maybe not in the box. But yesterday he showed us clean tackle. I thought he was really good. So it's just one game, but Milos Kerkez is going to be a bargain, and I think he impressed the most of the new players we saw yesterday, at least because there was no verts on the pitch. but we did see some other ones. Okay, so moving away from the players individually now, but sticking with Liverpool, it's just one game, but the support from the fans for Jota will actually be a motivator this season. I mean, you saw yesterday the tributes before the game were spot on, and you have to give it to Preston. They put on an absolute perfect showing in terms of the pre-match sort of tributes to Jota. I thought they did a really good job, and obviously it was all on their own accord as well. They had the captain come out and present the flowers in front of our fans, whilst the singer did You'll Never Walk Alone. She also did Can't Help Falling in Love, which was the song I was trying to remember on the weekend. I knew I'd read it, but I couldn't remember. And I did not know that was Preston's song. And it made me question, like, I'm going off topic here, but it is what it is. How did Preston end up with an Elvis tune as their song? How did that happen? Elvis is from, I don't even know where he's from in America. Is he from Memphis? I could have made that up, but there we go. And Preston North End are singing an Elvis song. When did that become a thing? It's news to me, anyway. I reckon he'd be buzzing, Elvis. I reckon he'd love it at Preston. Singing Can't Help Falling in Love. But on a serious note, I thought it was brilliant. And we chanted his song loads throughout the game. There was so many banners for him, so many shirts, so many Portugal flags. It was really spot on, as you'd expect. The 20th minute standing ovation was fantastic. It went on for ages from both sets of fans, so that was great to see. And we closed the game as well, chanting his chant, and I thought that was a nice moment. And also the ITV commentator did a really good job of, he said, listen, I'm just going to shut up and I'm going to let the soundtrack of the Liverpool fans take us out now. And I thought that was brilliant. So I'm not sure who his name was, the commentator yesterday. I did recognise his voice but don't know his name. So he did a really good job. So well done. You've got the Golden Sky seal of approval. And let me tell you, that does not come lightly for commentators. I'm sure we'll get into that in the season as we go on. But if Rio Ferdinand's anywhere near that microphone, good God. So yeah, that was great. And the chants at the end after the game had finished and all the players were in front, and you had Simicast singing along, you had a couple of players tearing up. It was awesome, to be honest. It was brilliant. And you can see, for me, obviously that was the first game, so maybe it's a little amplified, but for me, that support is going to really carry on, and it really looks like it's going to be a way to galvanise the fans, and the atmosphere, for me, looks like it could be the best it's been in a long time throughout the season as we go, because everyone seems to be collectively doing their healing on the pitch for Jota, and sort of using that as the best way to deal with the tragedy of what happened. And I think that's going to carry on throughout the season. So it's just one game, but the support for Jota is going to be a huge motivator this season for both the players and the fans to sort of perform the best they can and win as much as they can in his name and to honour him in that way. So that was great, and it was brilliant to see. Okay, so back to the individuals that we saw yesterday, and another one of our new faces. It's just one game, but Jeremy Frimpong is the fastest human alive. Oh my God, did you see this guy's recovery run yesterday? Like, my head fell off my shoulders, honestly. The thought of imagining Trent ever moving at that speed, honestly, if Trent tried it, he's, like in the cartoons where someone runs dead fast and like the face sort of like the skin on the face like rips off and they're left with like just a skull and like all the hair peels back, and you know what I mean? You know what I mean, right? I'm sure you've all seen that, and like maybe they're on a bike or something and the you know what I'm trying to say. Google it if you don't know what I'm trying to say. That's kind of what I'd imagine would happen to Trent if he tried that. But Frimpong, he rocks up. He had Under Armour on. Can we address this as well? The guy was wearing Under Armour. Does he always wear it? I don't know. I've not noticed. I mean, Van Dijk would have had it on yesterday. It was like 30 degrees. He rocks up. He's got Under Armour on. He had a headband on that was like as thick as my skull on his head to keep his dreads in place. It looked class. I loved it. It was like Saint Maximin reincarnated, just not Gucci. And yeah, he had one moment where the Preston guy was about to start a break, and Frimpong just turns on the jets and legged him down and won the ball. It was a nice tackle in the middle of the pitch and got us playing again. It was brilliant, and he wasn't that involved, Frimpong, in the play. He was passing the ball around, which is probably unfamiliar for him. Not just running every time he gets the ball, but he didn't do anything wrong. As we said, he made that recovery run. He showed his pace a couple other times, just getting out to his fullback. It was nice to see that rather than someone just trotting out there slowly but surely, and you know that he's about to get skinned the moment he gets out there. So that was good. Like I said, nothing too crazy from him actually in the game. I'm sure we'll see a lot more in the future, but he might be the fastest human alive, because has anyone seen Usain Bolt running recently? There's no way he's faster than Frimpong these days. I'm sorry, there's just no way. So find me someone faster. Frimpong versus Elanga next season. That could be an absolute... that could be brilliant, watching them two go at it. Hopefully Frimpong absolutely destroys him, of course. But yeah, I thought that was really good to see. And we need a bit of an injection of pace in the team, honestly, because when you look at it, Burnley haven't got the fastest team in the world these days, especially if we're not playing with a striker up front and we end up with Wirtz and Szoboszlai up there. We haven't got loads and loads of blistering pace in the team, so I think it'll be helpful this season. And you saw where Bradley scored the goal from as well. I mean, the guy was in the 6-yard box tapping the ball into a basically empty net. That's what we've got Frimpong for, to get into those areas like Bradley did and be genuinely an attacker. And I do think it's sort of emulating that PSG way of playing with Nuno Mendes and Hakimi getting right into the box. And we'll talk about PSG a little bit later, as we will get into the Club World Cup final. But we'll save that for later in the show. But yeah, Frimpong, great to see. Hoping to see more of him in the coming games. And yeah, that was great. Okay, so last one on this sort of overreacting segment here. It's just one game, but is Darwin Nunez back? No, listen. Hear me out here. Okay. I did not think I'd be saying this as much as you didn't think you'd be hearing this, but is Darwin Nunez, now that he's shaved his hair, has that unlocked him for the 4th season here at Anfield? Is he more aerodynamic? Can he think now that all his hair's off his head, pulling it back? Maybe he's got more capacity to think about what he's doing. Look, in all seriousness, I'm still convinced he's going to leave. But if anything, yesterday's game showed that he is actually still pretty good at football. Maybe he's not quite the level we need, but he still has something. And that means we should hold out for the price that we want and not succumb to Napoli's low ball offers. Because there's a player, some sort of player in there. I mean, his goal was a massive error from Preston. Let's be honest, they passed him the ball. And were you confident when he went through one-on-one? Were you? Because you're not. If you say you were, you're lying. You weren't. There's no way you were confident, because I wasn't. And he nearly fucked it up as well. He goes to touch it with his left foot. He sort of hesitates a bit. He ends up kicking it. He nearly messed it up, but he didn't mess it up, and he put it in the empty net. And it was a good finish in the end. You can't take it away from him. It was a good finish. And it was a lovely dummy for the 3rd goal as well, showing a bit of awareness. So it was great. It doesn't go down as an assist, but it basically was. So a goal and assist in 45 minutes. it's good, and he made some good runs. Kirk has played a good ball through to him at one point on the left hand side. He was chasing down the keeper as he always does, and the crowd was loving him. And yeah, he seems to be taking the loss of Jota quite hard as well. He was pretty emotional at the end, and Van Dijk was consoling him. And he's a really easy player to support, Darwin. And whilst he's here, I know I will certainly be supporting him with all I've got. And so should everyone else. I know he's disappointed us. Maybe he hasn't hit the heights that we hoped and we wanted, but I would love him to succeed at Liverpool. I'll be honest. I would love it. If he turned into a great player, it would be boss. And Klopp would have been right. And I'd love it. But in reality, I'm not sure it's going to happen. But it's just one game in 25-26 season. And Darwin Nunez might be back. This time with a shaved head. All he needs to do now is go full Arne Slot and just pick the whole thing off. Just on Arne Slot, by the way. Yesterday, he's rocking, as were lots of the players as well on the bench, some like Air Max t-shirt. Clearly this is some sort of new merch we've got, but he had a t-shirt on and he had shorts on. Have we seen him in shorts before at a game? I don't know. Didn't get a close-up on the footwear, which was unfortunate, but he had shorts on. So well done to Arne Slot. He pulled out some shorts finally. And I saw GVB as well, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. He wasn't in the Air Max t-shirt, so he's keeping it serious. He had GVB on his top. You know, he's not messing around there. He's coming all business, Gio, and I like to see that. So that's a little bit on our coaches as well. So some other players that I've not mentioned within that, but I will give a little mention to. So thought Marmadashvili did okay. He didn't have any saves to make really at all. But he did have a little bit of work to do with the ball at his feet. Looked okay for the most part. He was kicking the ball with his left foot a lot, which made me question, is he actually left-footed? I don't know what foot he is. I need to find out and Google that and confirm it for sure. But he was kicking the ball with his left foot, and he kicked it with his right, so that's helpful that he is willing to use both feet. That was a skill Keller had, which was good. He looked comfy enough in possession. He was passing the ball from under a little bit of pressure, and that's something that he'll be scrutinised for moving from Valencia to us. So that was impressive. He's big as well, isn't he? He's a big fella. And we've just officially announced him today. So he might be the first player ever to be announced after they've played a game for us. So there we go. I thought Gravenberch did really well as well in the middle. He had one really nice turn where the ball's coming to him. The Preston fella's thinking, I've got him here. And nope, all of a sudden, Ryan just spins him. And the fella was left thinking, where the hell's he gone? And Birch was off legging at the defence. So that was really good. He looked sharp. Obviously only played the half like everyone else, but he looked fit, he looked good to go. That was great to see. I thought Neone did well next to him in midfield. Kind of like a baby Gravenberch, honestly. He looks super small. I mean, he's quite tall, but just so slight. Completed 100% of his passes yesterday too, which is great for a teenager playing centre midfield, even if it was quite easy for him. He looks composed on the ball. He got stuck in. Thought he did a good job. Same with Stevenson, who played centre back. This guy's a right back traditionally, and he's probably not tall enough to play centre back for us, even as a real reserve option. He is 21, so he's a youngster who's a little older than maybe what you'd like to be first breaking into the team. I'm not sure he ever will break into the team, but I thought he did okay yesterday. Like I said, it was very easy for him, but he looked fine. Maybe we sell him for a couple million, or maybe he goes on loan again, I'm not sure. Maybe we keep him, but I thought he did okay, so it was worth a mention. I even thought Chiesa did okay, and I'm not just saying that because I love him and I love his song, but I thought he did alright up front. It was good for the goal, good play, nice tight dribbling. His work rate's really good, even if he doesn't always win the ball, and he gave it away a few times. I thought he did alright. You've got to Not to like patronise him, like, oh, he did okay, Federico lad, but I thought he did pretty good, and that's all I'll say. It was nice to see him out there getting a chance. Hopefully, he manages to somehow kick on. I don't know if he will, but there we go. Some of the other youngsters, you had Doak come on. I thought he did pretty decent on the right wing, made a few chances. Obviously, does get the assist for the third goal. Did have a few bad touches as well, letting the ball go out of play. Bit rusty, but I thought he did all right. Probably needs another loan. Maybe we sell him. I don't know. Probably needs a loan in my eyes. I thought Kumas did all right when he came on. Probably needs another loan as well. But looks bright on the ball. That's something at least. I thought Woodman did okay in the goal as well. Our new third choice keeper. Thought he did okay. I mean, Yaros has gone out on loan, so Yaros is probably the real third choice, obviously on loan at Ajax. But I thought he did all right. Made a save. Couldn't do anything about the goal. Did have one moment where he got caught on the ball, just taking a bit too long. We're probably not going to see him all that much this season, but it was nice to see that he looks relatively normal and he's not a total psychopath like Adrian was. So that's reassuring at least. Then we did have Robbo. Like, Robbo completed the most passes for us. It was playing centre-back, which obviously isn't his position. I think it wasn't the best game for Robbo, really. Like, he did okay, but there was one moment where, for example, the ball was going long and Robbo tries to be really aggressive and win it, and the ball just goes sailing over his head. The lad got in, and then watching him run back was honestly pretty sad. It was like watching a. It was like if you bear with me here. It was like if you were a guy who likes to go watch deer, right? That's your thing. You love watching deer in the park or in the fields. You watch them run around. You've got a favourite deer. He's rapid. You love going to watch him every week. He runs up and down that field. It's magic. But then one day you go and you watch this deer and he's been wounded in his legs and the deer can no longer run properly, and you watch him and you just feel bad for him, and that's kind of how I felt for Robbo, watching him run back, chasing that fella yesterday for Preston. Yeah, so obviously playing left back's his actual position, but I don't know, it wasn't the greatest showing from Robbo. Hopefully that's not a sign of further decline for him, but we'll see. And also Nallo, I mean, he came on at centre-back. He didn't get sent off. That's longer than 4 minutes, so that's good. But this guy is like the opposite of Frimpong. He is slow as a slug, mate. Have you seen him run? He is so slow. I don't know how we fix that, really. Do we just... I don't know, do we take some of Frimpong's... No, we don't. We don't touch Frimpong. This guy, Nallo, is not fast enough. I'm sorry. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but that's all I've seen from him so far. And that's kind of everybody that I want to touch on at least. Salah was out there, Szoboszlai was out there. Nothing too noteworthy, honestly, from either of them. And yeah, we didn't see Wirtz, so that was a shame. But that's kind of a breakdown of the game. So hope you all enjoyed. We'll obviously do more when we play our next preseason game in Asia in a couple of weeks' time. But if we move on from Liverpool, and just quickly we'll have a little talk about the other game yesterday, the Club World Cup final. I mean, what is it to say about this game, guys? If anyone watched, you'll understand the madness, the total berserk nature of this game, what it was. And I'm not even talking about the football itself. I was thinking about it. It's kind of sad, really. Like, so we had the Club World Cup tournament. We know how controversial this is this year. We had Chelsea, who became relevant because a Russian billionaire bought them and diverted some of his assets into the club, and they became who they are today. Against PSG, state-owned by Qatar. So it was oil versus oil, basically. In the Club World Cup final. That kind of shows the state of football at the minute. And it was in the USA, backed by Saudi, with Trump there. I mean, that doesn't sum it up, kind of where football is at the minute. It's not a good place. We can laugh about it, but on a serious note, it is quite worrying. That's where we are. And Chelsea won. Unbelievably, they won the game. They shocked everyone. They smashed PSG 3-0. They shocked me. I said 3-0, but to PSG. So, got that one wrong, as did a lot of people. They played really well, Chelsea. They deserved it, honestly. They smashed PSG. Like I said, it was a big shock. But fair play to them. So yeah, Chelsea are the best team in the world, right? Because they've won the Club World Cup. That's how it works, right? It's not like they finished fourth in the league and won the Champions League years ago to qualify for this competition. No, it's not like that at all. They're the best team in the world, I assume. Yeah, that's the kind of winner you want for the first version of this Club World Cup. I'm sure they were really happy with that over at FIFA. But Chelsea do get to wear that shiny gold logo that we weren't allowed to wear. They get to wear it for 4 years now, which is quite annoying. They are technically champions of the world, which is really strange considering, like I said, they came fourth and they won the Conference League last year after playing basically nobody the whole way through. But the pre-game, if anyone watched, we had Robbie Williams back again. I got to ask, has this guy got into some sort of debt or something? Because why is he everywhere all of a sudden, Robbie Williams? I don't know what's going on with him, but he's had his film come out where he was like a monkey. I think, did anyone watch that? I've not heard anyone talk about it, but apparently it was good. He had his documentary come out. He's been performing throughout the Club World Cup before games, so he was there. Cheers, Robbie. Thanks for coming for that one, mate. Then we had the players come out to their WWE entrances again, one by one. Whilst there was some mad fireworks show going on, there was like a whole thing. It was, honestly, there was like PSG coloured fireworks and Chelsea coloured fireworks, and there was people running around the pitch with banners. It was madness, honestly. Then they played the national anthems, of course. Honestly, it was like American military propaganda going crazy. It was like nothing else. I've never seen anything like it before a game in my life. It was so American. It was crazy. If there are any Americans watching, let me know what you thought of it. Is this normal to you guys? For football, like, do you like it? I know they do this kind of thing in basketball. They play the national anthem and stuff like that. The game started 8 minutes late as a result of all these things, which is another American thing. They like to say, here's the start time, and there's the actual start time. They do it in basketball, and they do it in American football as well. There was that. Then camera just quickly moved, and you didn't have any warning, and suddenly Donald Trump and Gianni Infantino were next to each other, and you were like, it was like a jump scare. There they were, with their partners next to them, looking terrified. It was I know why Gianni's there, the crook from FIFA, but Trump there, I mean, God, honestly, what is there to say? Then we had a countdown to kick off. So we had a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Referee blows his whistle. That was rubbish. Get rid of that right away. Obviously, the game kicks off. Chelsea looked really good from the start. They looked a lot fitter. PSG looked pretty knackered, to be honest, in the heat. Chelsea obviously had maybe easier games throughout the competition. Maybe played a factor. I just think Chelsea looked like they had more in the tank, and they demolished PSG. Amazing performance from Palmer. He definitely has my respect, Palmer. He's fantastic. I loved the way he put those two chances away. Just no concern with power, just pure placement around Donnarumma, who's massive in the net. They were brilliant, and two really well taken goals. And then he sets up the third for João Pedro, who, like I said on the show the other day, looks like Chelsea have finally hit a good signing, and hopefully he doesn't explode at Chelsea, but it looks like he could. He scored a really well taken chip to put the game at 3-0 and kind of put it to bed early doors. They really just caught them on the counter attack a couple of times. Palmer caught Mendes really high up the pitch. He certainly won the battle against him, and Nuno Mendes hasn't lost many battles this season. But Chelsea they really won the game in the midfield, I think. I mean, Caicedo, as much as we like to sort of dislike him as Liverpool fans, he was fantastic. The power he has in that midfield, he really dominated. And PSG just couldn't get on the ball the way they normally do with their really technical players in there, because Enzo and Caicedo were just right on top of them. Reece James as well, to give him credit, he played well in midfield. They were really good. So it pains me to say, but Chelsea deserved it, and it's horrible to Liverpool fans. I would have much rather PSG won, but there we go. So the game goes to half time. I know what you're thinking. It's half time now. Let's maybe have some analysis, watch some adverts. Oh no. We're straight into the halftime show, because of course it's a halftime show. So we had J Balvin, if you're familiar. He rocks up. They're on like some massive stage at the top of the stadium. He's singing his songs. There's dancers everywhere. So that was great. Then we had Thames. I can't say I'm that familiar with Thames, but she came out, did a little song before Doja Cat came out, which is always something. She was there doing a little sing-song. And then we finished off with Coldplay. This was all in about 10 minutes. Coldplay rocked up, as they seem to always rock up. There they were, singing along. They also had, Coldplay brought some fella along with them who had like a heart shirt, and he was mic'd up, he was singing along, and he kept talking about when the performance was coming to an end. He was saying, "I'm so happy that we're all together." He was loving it. He was giving Chris Martin and Doja Cat a big cuddle. Honestly, what am I talking about? It sounds like I'm on drugs or something. It's mental. This was a game of football. It really did happen. There was a fella in a Heart t-shirt giving Doja Cat a cuddle at half time. I don't know what to say about this. But there we were. Then the second half, PSG tried to get back into it, but they just couldn't. And then they all lost their heads, and we just started kicking everybody. Cucurella goes full shithouse mode. He draws a foul, and then he bangs into João Neves. Provoked him completely. João Neves just loses his head and grabs hold of Cucurella's wig, gives it a little yank. Cucurella hits the floor, obviously embellishes it like he's been shot. He's rolling around like his locks are, I don't know, they've like fallen out his head. He's rolling on the floor. Ref goes to VAR, sends him off. Which, like, is hair pulling just always a sending off? I was thinking about this. If you've got short hair, like if I was playing, alright, and let's say I'm playing, right, and Liam Delap grabs hold of my hair and he just yanks it, like, is he getting sent off for that? Because I think Cucurella having the long hair and playing the way he does, I think he incites the red cards. So fair play to Cucurella. He got exactly the reaction he wanted. And then post-game, there was more kicking off. Luis Enrique and Donnarumma are going mad at João Pedro for whatever reason. And Luis Enrique, like, whacks him one. And João Pedro falls over. Enzo Maresca's running around like he's like, I don't even know, some sort of like army general trying to get everyone off the pitch. Eventually all cools down. It wasn't a great look for PSG, to be honest. Looked like pretty bad losers, all in all. And then we had the trophy ceremony. So I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Trump was there with medals, giving all the Chelsea players medals, and then him and Infantino go and take this ridiculous Club World Cup trophy. I mean, the thing is huge. It looks pretty cool, but it is massive. Give it to Reece James. Obviously, Infantino like walks off the stage. Trump, I don't know if he did. Look, he definitely did it on purpose, didn't he? He wanted to be in the shot, but he just stands there next to Reece James. So Reece James is like waiting to lift it, like looking at him. You see Cole Palmer in the back. He's yelling at Reece James, wait. And he's looking at Trump. He's like thinking, is this guy going to fucking get out of the way here? We're trying to lift the trophy. Anyway, he doesn't. And you see Palmer say, go on then. And they had to lift it with Trump just stood there. What is this guy doing? Get him out of the shot. What is he doing? Look, I'm not here to... I'm a couple episodes in it, right? Am I making political enemies straight away? It looks like it, yeah. Because fuck that guy. What is he doing involved in the trophy lift? Palmer and Robert Sanchez quickly jumped in front of him to celebrate, which was good, honestly. And Palmer really earned my respect even more than he already had it in those moments. Honestly, I think he's a good guy. To be honest, he's a great footballer. I think he's quite a stand-up guy, to be fair. So the Club World Cup is over. Chelsea have won. They've won a shit ton of money for it. It's not good. I'm not happy about it, but there we go. And that just about wraps up the Club World Cup content for the summer. And Chelsea's season finished the same day that our next season started, which is a massive problem in football and needs to be looked at. But that's a story for another day. So guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Just the two real main topics of today. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me. I'm sure we'll get into some more episodes later on this week. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see, if it's transfer related, I don't know, team related, Liverpool related, anything you'd like to see, leave us a comment. I'll be more than happy to get into it. If you've got any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to get into it. If you did enjoy today, like I said at the start, please drop a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to be posting throughout the whole season. Hope you're enjoying them so far. And yeah, that's all I wanted to get into today, guys. So enjoy the rest of your days. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you all later. Goodbye.